Hello, my name's Simon. I'm going to do a little talk about this condition I've got, and I've known I've had it for a very long time, called Ehlers Danlos syndrome. I was basically diagnosed with this in the early 90s. I was diagnosed with, back then it was EDS 3 and EDS 1. But I've suffered from this condition since birth. I've always struggled with school. My knees used to pop out of a joint. I couldn't hold a pen because my fingers were sore. Um, So I was in and out of hospitals for a very, very long time. Physios, Great Ormond Street Hospital, and I was finally diagnosed, yeah, about 91, maybe 92. Um, and for me and my mum especially, it was a bit of like a hallelujah moment. Like, this is what's wrong with them. But the problem is, back then, obviously, we didn't have the internet, so we couldn't really find out what EDS was. So we had to look in books, and obviously the only book they had was a GP, and it was like a little section about that big. Um, and back then, in early 90s, late nine, I can't remember what it was, the early 90s, they actually did tell me officially I was like the fifth bloke in England to be officially diagnosed with this condition. Well, I don't know if it's that true or not, but that's what I was told by a quite high up genetics doctor. Um, so I've really had to learn about this condition myself because obviously there's no internet. So I've had to sort of manage it myself and sort of get on with my life because I had no other choice in the matter. Um, so I did a lot of swimming, joined swimming clubs, did a lot of bodyboarding. So I spend my time down my local beach in the water, which I still do, because I needed to find a management plan for this condition. Um, I didn't want to really let it define my life. And when I was 16, I sort of thought, well, you know, I can't be dealing with hospitals anymore. I really can't. I spent my life in other hospitals. So I just sort of got on with my life, really. And it's only when I actually got back from the UK, when I spent some time in South Africa, that actually my condition sort of like got worse. It's actually my wife who sort of pointed out a few things to me that obviously I was doing that's not normal. Like getting out of the bath, getting out of cars, standing up. Um, for me, that's my normal. Like, I didn't think anything different. It was my normal, whatever. Um, and it's only until, again, when I went to see the genetics doctor who actually diagnosed me 30 years before, who actually told me, like, your condition's got worse, you need to have an MOT. Um, so that's what I'm in the process right doing now. I've also now a volunteer for EDS UK for the men's group and also the Devon group. The men's group is for me is absolutely brilliant. I can't. It's been absolutely brilliant meeting other men with this condition and all having the same issues that blokes have with this condition. The problem being with this condition is that because it's an invisible illness and you're a man, people A think you're lazy and B think you're lazy. So, you know, when you say, "Oh, I can't do this because it hurts too much," I say, "Well, get up and do it." You can't. You can't just get up and do it. Well, no, rephrase the one. You can do it. It's the next couple of days that will you suffer for. So it'll be like, "Yeah, I'm fine today," which we call the men's group. I'm fine. Um, it's the next couple of days you'll be like, "Oh God, I'm really suffering." And I think that's really hard for people to understand, like being a bloke and having this condition. I mean, for example, I was in Aldi a couple of weeks ago, and there's a little old lady in front of me, and she had this big, massive bag of cat litter. And she was like, Do you mind if you can lift this back on the conveyor belt?" I couldn't say no because I'm a bloke. You know, you can't say no to a little old lady. But my God, I was sore the next day after that. You know, it really was. And I think sometimes people don't realise it puts quite a burden on blokes with this condition. I mean, it puts a burden on anybody. But as a bloke, it really, you know, you want to do the DIY, you want to do the garden, you want to do, you know, what men are supposed to do. But you physically can't. Well, again, you can, but it's just the next day you'll be suffering. And I think that's where people go wrong with this condition is where one day you can be absolutely fine, like, you know, happy days. And the next day, well, I'll rephrase it one, the next week, you're completely out. And the joints, my joints, have gone the opposite now. So where they used to be really stiff and come out of joint all the time, sorry, the other way around, it used to be really stiff. Sorry, it used to come out of joint all the time, they're now really stiff. So, you know, I can't get out of the car as much easier anymore. I can't stand up anymore. You know, it's like an effort for me to stand up, like a proper effort. And it's the fatigue that gets me. It's a constant being tired all the time. And I think, you know, it's why the average Joe doesn't understand how this condition can really affect your anxiety as well, because you're sort of thinking to yourself, oh my god, what am I like? What am I like today, or what am I like tomorrow? Um, but I say this to everybody who's been freshly diagnosed, especially the young lot: find your management plan. Find a plan that you can manage this condition. And if you do, it's like a breath of fresh air. Like, find anything that will help you out. Like, anything that helps out a little bit. Um, like I do a lot of swimming. And that for me is brilliant, because the ocean is the only time that my body actually feels like I'm normal, um, and not in pain. I went to the doctor a couple of months ago, and he said, "How often are you in pain?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm always in pain. Like, what? I don't know." Like, and I think because I was diagnosed at a younger age, for me it's a godsend, because you can sort of learn from that and grow up with it and sort of understand what it is. I feel sorry for people being freshly diagnosed later on in life, because it's a bit of a like, oh my god, what was this? Where I think, I think the doctors need to start diagnose people at a younger age, because it's a great opportunity for them to sort of grow with their condition and find ways to manage it. I've never really let this condition define who I am, tell me who I am, boss me about. I think now I'm 42 and I can see things getting a little bit worse. It's great. But also at the same time, back when I was diagnosed a long time ago, things weren't connected. Like my bowel issues, that and EDS wasn't connected. My learning difficulties I had back then, EDS, and that wasn't connected. Where now it's like everything's connected. So I sort of feel like people who are diagnosed now have got a greater opportunity to sort of medicate themselves and find management than I ever did. Because obviously that sort of stuff was separate, but now it's completely all connected, which is brilliant. All you need to do is just find that right consultant who understands it. And sadly, I'm seeing quite a lot of reports from my members in the Southwest group and the men's group that a lot of people don't understand it at all. And the problem is the doctors sort of read it in a book and they go, "Oh yeah, that's what it is," but they're not living with it. They don't understand what the other side effects are with this condition is. And it's, for me, it's the fatigue. It's being tired all the time. It's just finding the energy just to stand up. It's draining. And as I say at the time, I'm tired from being tired. It's quite hard. So I want to do really in this May awareness is actually get people out there understanding what it is, and for blokes and for women, it's so if you see a person sort of parking disabled bay who just get up and walks off, don't judge them. They might have this condition, or any other condition, for example. There are invisible illnesses out there, and there's a lot of them now, and thank God they are getting recognised, because back when they weren't recognised at all. It was like, you're lazy, get up and do something. So I think things have moved on a lot since I was diagnosed, like a lot. And I think that's a great opportunity for people to go out there and find a good management plan for the condition. Like I have, and I've known about this condition since I was a kid. And it's really good to see actually. There's actually quite famous people that are being diagnosed with it as well, so they're getting it more in the forefront. But I think what we need to do is get more stories of blokes with this condition, with other men with this condition. It's really great. There's lots of social media stuff with lots of women, but there's hardly any men, and I don't know why that is. I'm at an age now where I really don't care what people think about me in this condition. I really don't. I've suffered with this condition all my life. It's about time I went out there and said to people, "This is what I've had. I was diagnosed that long ago. That people didn't even know about it. I've gone through life. I've done what I wanted to do. I've achieved what the doctor said I could achieve." And I keep saying it all the time. There's no such word as can't. Like there really isn't. If you want to go and do it, you go and do it. Like there's no such word as can't. Yeah, you'll have a day that's like, oh, I can't do it today. But don't do it. Have a rest day. Like I always have rest days. You need a rest day to get the energy back up in your body. But anyway, that's my little video I thought I'd try out. So yeah, go and have a look at EDS UK's Facebook page and website, and have a look at there and learn about this condition, because trust me, it's pretty interesting.